It's Antonio, and welcome back to my channel. We're going to have some fighting words. So in this video, I wanted to do an analysis on Errol Spence for the upcoming fight with Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao. So with my last video, I just broke down Manny Pacquiao, what I think are his pros and his cons, keys for success, and the possible things that could lead to his downfall in the fight with Errol Spence. So now I'm just going to do a video for Errol Spence and just break down what I feel like are his keys to success and a few little nitpicks here and there, because there aren't really many for Errol. What could possibly lead to him walking out with a big L. So let's start with the keys to success. So the first that I have down is Errol Spence is aggressive. I think his aggression is by far one of his strongest attributes, that he's so aggressive. He is big for his weight class, which is welterweight, but Errol could easily fight at 154. I mean, there was even at one point talks of Errol fighting Canelo Alvarez at 160. So he could easily fight at a bigger weight class. So with him having so much more size than the people in that weight class, he can afford to be more aggressive, and it works in his favor. Errol Spence is the only person who ever Sean Porter, period. He's the only person to ever do it. He's the only person to ever really mangle and manhandle Sean Porter. Nobody else has ever done that. So his aggression, to me, is one of his keys to success. The second key to success for Errol Spence is his work rate. Errol Spence will work. He fought Danny Garcia and just beat him up the whole entire time. He threw a ton of punches. You know, he did the same. He honestly does everybody the same, because there's really no one to nitpick and say, well, he did this more in this fight or he did this more in this fight. The main reason why I'm talking about Danny Garcia is because he had that traumatic car accident where the car flipped over 20 times or something like that, and he get thrown out of the car. And yet everybody's saying, well, I don't know if all his faculties are still there, and yada yada yada. And then he gets in the ring and he has a darn near perfect, excellent performance. It's his work rate. Once he's in the zone, he's in the zone, and I don't think anything can pull him out of it. He's just go. He's a prime example of someone saying, I got tunnel vision. His work rate is definitely his second key to success. The third would be that he's an amazing counterpuncher. He's an amazing counterpuncher, and I don't think he gets enough credit for his counterpunching. I think because he's so aggressive and he's always coming forward, and most of the time either he is the aggressor or he looks like the aggressor. He doesn't get the credit that he deserves for being a counterpuncher. So I mean, he just clips people. The perfect example that I can think of is Chris Algieri. When he knocked him down with a single hook, Chris was actually coming after him, and he just caught him. It wasn't necessarily a check hook. It was kind of wide, but still. He got him, knocked him down with it, and that was perfect. So he's great at counterpunching. And with an aggressive guy like Manny Pacquiao, counterpunching is definitely going to come in handy. Number 4 would be, honestly, his youth. Manny Pacquiao's, he's older, and Errol Spence is younger. The only thing that people are going to say was, oh, but what about what the car accident did to his body? Well, like I said earlier, as we can all see in the fight with Danny Garcia, that was not a factor, because this is still strong. And as long as this is intact for Errol Spence, he's got nothing to worry about. So he also gets the youth factor, and he's definitely going to take advantage of it. And I think all those other 4 keys to success are going to play a big role with the youth factor. Now, like I said, we talked about some pros. We got to go to the cons. I guess most of his cons, honestly, are going to be more about psychology. So, because there are more questions. And the reason why there are more questions is because Errol Spence hasn't fought the type of opposition that Manny Pacquiao has fought. So, therefore, it's just more question marks. So, my first question would be, how far is Errol Spence willing to go? When we talk about the fight with Manny Pacquiao, we know how far he's willing to go. I mean, he's willing to die in that ring. I mean, him and Marquez had some wars. He's willing to die in that ring. We know what mental place he's willing to go to, and we know how far he's willing to go physically, to the point where one of us is going to walk out of here. So the closest that we've seen with Errol Spence would be Carol Burke and would be Sean Porter. But again, in my personal opinion, especially speaking from the last video about Manny Pacquiao's keys to success, I don't believe Kell Brook or Sean Porter are the level of competition that Manny Pacquiao's fought when he was, younger. So neither one of them are an Oscar De La Hoya or a Floyd Mayweather or a Shane Mosley or a Miguel Cotto. They're just not. We have to call a spade a spade. So that question mark, unfortunately, is still there for me. Yes, Errol Spence fought Danny Garcia. However, Danny Garcia has 2 losses on his record. So you can't really say he's the top of the creme de la creme. I'm sorry. You can't put him there anymore because he has 2 losses on his record. He's a tough fighter. He's a really solid gatekeeper. I will give him those. But to say he's the creme de la creme, he's the top of the top, I can't really give him that anymore. So there is a question mark of how far Errol Spence is willing to go. The second is because of his youth and because of the lack of fights that he's had in comparison to Manny, because he's had a lot of fights, but in comparison to Manny Pacquiao, has he seen every trick in the ring? Has he seen every style in the ring? That's something that we have to take in consideration. Manny Pacquiao has definitely seen everything that you can possibly think of. I mean, my goodness, this man has been fighting since the 90s, the early 90s. So there's nothing that you can present to him where he's like, oh, I've never seen that before. I'm going to have to adjust on the fly. No, he's seen it all. He's seen slick punchers, slick fighters, great boxers, great footwork, head movement, great jabs, power punchers, counter punchers. He's seen everything. There's nothing that Errol Spence is going to present to Manny Pacquiao that's going to, kind of rattle him or get him a little confused or, I'm going to have to go on my bag of tricks. No, he's seen it all. But the question is, has Errol Spence seen it all? That's the question. I don't know if he's seen it all. I don't know. I mean, really, when you talk about the top level of competition that he's faced, you're talking about Danny Garcia. I really don't want to put Mikey in there because of the size difference, to be dead honest with you. And what Earl did to Mikey wasn't even funny. I mean, he threw like 300, 400 punches or something like that. And Mikey just was literally a piñata for that entire fight. So I really don't want to put him in there. And then you have Sean Porter, which, to my personal opinion, is his toughest fight to date. But still, those guys didn't present a whole lot, especially in the end of the fight. Sean Porter was the only guy who presented something in the end of the fight. So we gotta bring that up. The third would be, can he take a punch? And I mean like a clean, hard punch. Manny Pacquiao is a rapid-fire machine gun puncher. And can he take a power punch like that from a guy like that who's throwing everything and the kitchen sink at it? Can he take that kind of punch? Yes, again, he fought a heavy-handed Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia never hit Errol Spence with a clean shot. Not in that entire fight. Go back and watch it, you will see. He never clipped him with a clean shot. So the question is, can he take, as well as he gives these punches, can he take a good punch? And yeah, he's been hit in the past, but he hasn't been hit in the past with a guy the caliber of Manny Pacquiao. So that's another one that we have to take into consideration. And one of the things that does worry me the most would be Earl does have a tendency in latter rounds to kind of take little rest here and there. I don't think it's safe for Earl to take a rest against Manny Pacquiao. I think his best bet is to fight Manny Pacquiao the same way that he fought Mikey Garcia and just throw like 100 punches around. Because listen, you're the younger guy, make that older guy work. Make him work. Back him up the entire fight. Make him work. Keep him on his bicycle the entire fight. But you can't get lackadaisical in there. Oh, I won these 2 prior rounds, so I guess I can kind of chill in this round, or I'm a little tired this round, so I'm just gonna, I'm gonna agree to just exist in this round. You can't do that with Manny Pacquiao. He's a wolf. You can't do that with him. Especially somebody who's that fast, punches that hard, and punches in combinations. You can't afford to take a rest because, yeah, you might dodge 1 and 2, but that third one might clip you. Or at least damage you to the point where number 4 is coming and number 4 is going to do some damage. So those are my keys to success for Errol Spence, and those are also um, the things that I feel like could be a factor that could bring him his first L. But you tell me what you think down below, and as always, please like and subscribe.